Yo,
Yo, hold on, give me 1 second. Let me switch my audio. Where are we at? There it is. Yeah, I have like my computer screen in a different format, so this is like super weird every time to set up. Alright, it's paired, and I can
is
switch.
it like portrait mode or something?
No, I have like my main screen behind my laptop screen. So it's like yeah, it's a little weird, but I have to do this so like the camera's facing directly, for some sort of consistency.
Mm,
But what's up?
gotcha. Chilling. I didn't end up playing
Nice.
video games.
Oh
Uh,
man, huge bummer.
I went outside.
Oh, that's even better. Close this because people are loud as hell. All right.
Do you live like, do you live on the ground floor?
No, I'm on the second floor. But like I don't know. Today, I guess everyone's just kind of like running around outside. So it's like Tuesday, but it's still cool. Oh no, is it lagging?
I feel like in my imagination, nobody lives on the ground floor in New York.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Let me get this right. There we go. Yeah, a lot of people do. It depends on what streets you're on. There's some like more residential areas, and other ones are kind of like
Mm.
you got the storefronts on the bottom, which is like a really cool format. It's like dense as fuck out here. Oh, it's lagging a little bit.
Yeah. Do you have like, shit.
Get off the Wi-Fi here. All right, what'd you say?
Do you have anywhere like, is there an area that you live or anything?
Hold
Do
on,
you have
wait.
to
Can
like
you?
travel to go to some nature?
Oh, okay, there we go. I
Frozen.
caught that. Yeah, usually at the beginning of these, it's always terrible. But yeah, hopefully that I could solve that problem. I'm gonna have to speak to my landlord on Thursday. But that's a
Hey,
totally
I
different
make these
topic.
videos.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be like, dude, Wi-Fi's fucked out here. But yeah, there's quite a bit of nature spots. Of course, they're like these like little square park kind of areas for like I don't know. It's like a little island of nature, and like a sea of concrete. But there's like 2 blocks down. There's like a little tiny park, and there's some like pretty sick ones, but I have to like take the bus to get over to them. So it's
Mm.
like, well, on the weekends I always pop around to a park and like literally just like lay there for like hours. I
That's
gotta like
dude.
resync. I
I've
didn't
been,
do that for a while, and it kind of like messed me up a little bit, because like I'm always in
yeah,
here, you know.
yeah, yeah. That's why when I texted you, I was like, my instinct to kill like 15 minutes is play a game of Rocket League. But I was like, man, I was at my desk all day, like, and I'm just cold. Like, I just want to like feel the sun. So
Dude,
I just
yeah.
went outside and took a picture of a tree. But yeah.
What? So you work from home
But yeah,
too?
I think it was the right move. Uh, Sometimes I'm still at the Rocket, so I was at the office like all day, and I was just like, and most of the time I'm there, I'm like walking around the studio, like organizing equipment, like messing with the cameras and stuff. So I'm not like at a desk like editing. But today I was at a desk like all day, and like just fries me so quick. Like I don't have
Dude, yeah.
the stamina, and it was cold too. Like I don't know.
That's
It's
always the
it's like
worst
too hot
mix.
outside and too cold inside. Uh,
There's never a happy medium. That's the only thing that I hate about like
mhm.
I don't know modern creative jobs is that a lot of it is like computer aided, so you're kind of just like stuck, at the desk, and it's like, damn, I wish I could like make something with my hands. You know, become a carpenter or some shit.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know.
That's why like I feel like in my job, like narrowing it down to just the camera work and stuff, like I'm always like
Oh
doing
yeah, you are
something
kind
physical, even though it's like it's a little screen, but it's like moving and like outside a lot of the time. And then I just hand off the footage to someone and then they can sit at the computer and like,
of.
you know, the people
Yeah.
who can
So
handle that better than me are
honestly,
doing
at this point, I feel like you're further into your photography, not photography, but just like videography, cinematography, just like career. And what have you like found your pocket? I remember you were doing a lot of stuff. Like last time
it.
you were working on a project with Sheena, you know. Uh,
Uh-huh.
there we go.
Yeah, I think I found a pocket. Um, I found a role. Like within that role, I don't think I have like my exact like niche thing yet, but I definitely know like the because every like I'm sorry, Penguin is like meowing really loud right now. Um, can I feed her? It'll take me like
No,
30 seconds. I'm gonna
no,
give her
yeah,
some
yeah.
food.
Go ahead. This
I
is
can
organic
actually
as it
talk because
gets.
I got Bluetooth, so I can keep talking.
Oh hell yeah, let's do it.
What is it? Um, can you still hear me?
Yeah, yeah. You're talking about your niche.
So, dude, she's going crazy. I got you.
Yeah, I was cat sitting for a
Wasn't
little
giving
bit.
you attention.
I was cat sitting for a little bit, and it was kind of
Who's
like the
cat?
same situation for us. One of my roommates' cats. She went out of town for a little bit, so we were watching her two cats, and one of them, I'm pretty sure, was in heat, and like was just constantly meowing like forever. I didn't really mind too much, but the roomies were like, "Make it stop!" They're, they're like
I
going
think my
crazy.
cat got the surgery, so she doesn't have to. She never like had that phase,
Yeah.
thankfully.
Oh, but
But
she just screams
she's pretty
regardless.
loud. Like I found like a role that,
There we go.
yeah, I think she's just hungry. But shit, I forgot what I was saying.
You're talking about your role.
Oh yeah, like I, I found uh like a position that I think works with my personality, where it's like
Mm.
I can just my role is basically to just be observant and like talking to people all the time, and it that was really it's really relieving. Like once I discovered that, and it's like, okay, now I don't have to force my personality to fit this role that I think I'm supposed to be in. Now I can just
Yeah.
kind of continue like be more like natural, and then I found a spot where that works. So
What
yeah,
exactly is that
that's
spot?
I mean, but within that there's a million just cinematographer. So like I'm like the image person of a film production. So um basically only responsible for like the visual aspect and not like sounds or acting or editing or anything. All my weaknesses basically. So that's been really nice. And it's a lot the best part about it for me is that like
Oh, dude, this thing keeps lagging.
I don't feel like responsible for like I don't feel the full pressure of the project. I only feel like a big chunk of the pressure of the project. But like as a director, like if something goes wrong, you get the blame, or like basically you get like all the all the blame and all the credit at the same time as a director. And it's just like for me, it's just like I can just be this like support person, but still do like exactly what I want and still like be able to express myself. And basically it's just when I see the medium as a whole, if you could like cut a line through like the best parts of it, like that's what my role is. And so it's like, yeah, it's really awesome. I'm really glad I like discovered that. But
Yeah, yeah, and that's really sick. I've never coming out here. There's like a lot of perspective of like how a set is because both of my roommates do like some PA work, and it's
mhm.
such an intricate thing. Like, I mean, even every now and then I'll be like walking down the street and there'll be like a set kind of like set up where everyone's like running around working. Everyone has their like walkies and they're like communicating with everyone, and it's like so many moving parts. And to
Yeah.
be able to kind of like communicate with everyone that you need to kind of bring like a vision to where it needs to be is kind of like it's really crazy. Like I've always been a huge fan of like directing positions in movies because it's like a real time performance, somewhat real time like performance, and there's so many variables that need to be right, and you're working with people, and you're working with like rental resources and all of this stuff. So it's like so many moving. It's like you ever seen those those videos of planes like refueling while they fly? Like that's what like film direction feels like for me, whenever I look at
uh
it. Because like
Dang, that's crazy. Yeah.
direction from my perspective in like design or whatever, it's like really you just talk to a person and uh, you just kind of paint a picture and then they kind of take their time and do it, and you can like look over their shoulder and be like, oh yeah, you're doing just good. And it's like low stakes, like that person
Yeah.
isn't directing someone else, and yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, man. It's interesting being like, I would say like in the creative aspect, the cinematographer's like second problem, like the closest person to the director. Like doing the
Yeah.
like but like directors have such strong visions and styles and everything like that. Like, you know, Stanley Kubrick is known for his style and he's super meticulous and like hundreds of takes and like trying to get the details down to like 0.001%. And then there's directors who are like, we're just gonna be intuitive and like show up and we have an idea of what we want, but we're not gonna try and force it, like because that's just not natural. And then as the cinematographer, like working with like you can work with one type of person and then jump to the opposite in the next thing. So it's like it's like I can't it's really shown me that there's no like right way to do it because you get great results from people who are just kind of like, oh, look at that, like let's go get that, or like, like just like I worked with people who like have it storyboarded and pre-edited like down to the second before it's even filmed and they know, and then it's just my job to help like execute and I know what they're going for. But then there's other people who will literally like see somebody like across the street like while we're shooting and then go talk to them and like, maybe pay them or just like explain to them and like try and work them into the script because they believe that it'll make it better, and it does a lot of times. But it's like it's just so crazy how like I just the more people different people I work with, I see like people's like creativity and like approach I think evolves and like it starts out like everybody starts at the same like baseline where it's like you just gotta like figure out the basics, and then like as it grows, it like I feel like your personality like emerges and it's been like next to it the whole time, and then like and then and then everyone's personalities are super tied up to their creative approach. That's what I've seen. And for me, I think my personality is that like I kind of like I really absorb like whoever's around me and like will pick on their
Oh, it's paused.
energy, I guess, and like and go into that meticulous mode, or I can go into like the laid back and like um basically like spontaneous type of thing. And it's really fun that way because it's different. And then I'm just like getting to see all these different personalities and appreciate them in a different way because I'm like, oh wow, this type of personality really works for this like styles it, and then you can see how that really works well with this certain style.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
That
really
and
enjoy that.
that's the I think that's the most valuable aspect of like any collaborative type of work is like I think the most I mean, the biggest thing for anyone who makes anything is the idea of inspiration and how everyone has like so many different aspects to their like whatever it is a style is or their creative approach, and to be able to work with other people and kind of graft the stuff that you like onto your own creative practice and to just kind of like learn how to work with other people well, I think is like that's like the goal, in anything like that, because it on a conceptual level you're kind of like shaking like I don't know, imaginary creative hands, and to like be able to sync up with someone on that creative level is fucking like crazy, because these are all things that are not grounded in things that exist. Like you're trying to bring an imaginary image to life with another person, and however it's made, depending on what I don't know creative style another person has, like it's like yeah, you're basically giving birth. Not to be too romantic about it, but you're like giving birth to like a baby, and sometimes people are like, dude, what the fuck is this baby? Or other times people are like, oh man, like this thing's beautiful. Didn't think it would come out this way, but it's kind of sick, And I don't know. It's a really interesting process. I've been trying to like get involved with collaborative efforts way more because I feel like that's like you get closer to whatever like peak level creative person is that way, you just learn
Mm,
way fucking faster, you know.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't. I mean, she
I
ate, but
mean,
she's screaming again. But as long as it's not coming through too
yeah, no,
loud on your end,
I can't
yeah.
hear it at all or barely.
Is it with what you do? Is it normal for teams to be pretty like that's similar to what you do?
Wait, can you repeat that one more time? My internet was choppy again.
Oh, I was thinking about like the collaborative aspect of your medium and like how often is it just like what's the number of people? Like I could give you like a like I just want to know compared to like film sets. Like I mean, a set isn't the only aspect of film, but like how many people are talking? How many like humans is this creative
Yeah,
idea like circulating between?
yeah. So for me, it's pretty interesting right now because like it started off with just like me and my boss, and it was just me and him like trying to figure out how to make this like furniture set, and we were just drawing. It was just me and him the whole time, and then it was like, all right, we both have a limited, amount of like experience in like fabrication and manufacturing and stuff like that. So it was like we need to like find someone who specializes in that, and we found a guy, and then we kind of just it could pretty much just be like four people max, Usually some teams have like a research person, they have like a designer or two, and then someone who kind of like engineer kind of person who understands like they could run like stress tests and things on products, and understand like what materials are suitable for whatever. And yeah, that could be like the whole team. As far as I know, it works different depending on what projects you're working on. Because like at the same time, like we're also working on some like pavilion type things. So it's like a little architecture
Dang.
kind of situations.
Oh shit.
And
That's
yeah,
dope.
yeah, yeah, it's like super sick. And it's kind of interesting because like we honestly don't even know how many people we need so far. I mean, so far we've done it with just like three people. It's like me, my boss, and Caleb's helping out a lot. And he found this one company to help out with like a pavilion, and they're basically doing like pro bono work because they really fuck with the project. And and that's
Oh,
it
that's
for that
awesome.
project. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it varies depending on what scale you're working at, but usually in some teams, people are working on like multiple projects at the same time, and everyone's like passing bits and pieces around. Um, but yeah, it's kind of in the air. Like in theory, a person could do like everything if they're that much of a generalist, you know.
Mhm.
But
Do you
yeah,
want to be a generalist, or like
oh man,
do you want to
yeah.
just hire experts? I feel like I could see you being a generalist because you just have so many different interests, and like it's not like hard for you to like get really into something new. But for me, I just feel like, oh, I gotta start from scratch in this like thing. I'm just gonna like I'm not a generalist at all. But I feel like that's kind of like what a director, like that's like the
Yes.
director type role is like being able to have a taste in every aspect and like have like enough knowledge to have an opinion on it, but maybe not, you don't know like 1,000% like all the details of what goes into it, and like uh
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
know enough to like say that's cool or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
used to
then
be
if
like
it's something small enough, you can make it all yourself.
Yeah, I used to be super like bummed in school because like I kind of felt myself liking a lot of like different aspects of the design, like just the design process. My professors were always like make sure you specialize in something so you can like become a more valuable asset to a team, because like traditionally if you graduate and kind of go into the field, you're going to be doing like CAD or rendering or something like that. So they were like, try and like specialize so you can get hired. And I was like, dude, fuck, like I like everything. Like I just like just I don't know. I feel like general like a very kind of general amount of like creative knowledge in most topics can like uh there's like an intersection point between like everything you could possibly know. And I think it's really interesting to kind of like gather a decent amount of knowledge in like a lot of fields, and then you can see where they kind of converge, and you can see how like
Mm,
two things that are traditionally like not similar at all could have some sort of similarity. And I feel like you could be super creative that way, but the double-edged sword to that is that like you were saying, you can't really get too far deep any topic, any one topic, you just have like a lot of general knowledge, and you can try and see kind of like deeper meanings or connections between them, but you're always kind of floating at the surface.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I feel like that was always kind of for me. Like I was always super interested in like any type of creative craft. Like I really found a lot of joy in like when I was like even drawing or like when I painted or messed around with music, and like I love it. Like it feels just as good. And it feels even better when you're just trying it out for the first time too, because you're beginner and it's just like this whole world just opens up. It's like
Yeah.
that that's one of the best feelings because there's no pressure either too. And it's just like
Yes.
you're just playing like just like playing with different toys. And but then like once you get to a certain point with one of those mediums for me, like I felt like I was abandoning like what I'm supposed to do. Like I felt like I was like cheating on film with like music or or anything else that I was spending my time on. So I kind of just like dropped every other medium except for like the one that I feel like I'm supposed to do. And that's where I'm at now. But it also like it makes me uh like a audience member to everything else, which is
Oh
really
yeah.
fun because
That's important.
like now when I listen to music or look at art that's in any other medium than mine, like I'm just like I'm not analyzing it other than like how it's making me feel. So like I mean maybe a little bit, but it's not like, when you're like
It's
making
like that could be
stuff,
better.
like if you're a musician, yeah, yeah, if you're a musician, you're just like, oh, why did they like put so much of this on effect on it, or like you can
Yeah.
hear like the buzz and the cables or whatever, but I don't hear any of that. I'm just like, oh, this is sick,
What
and
was it?
that's what I want, honestly, because like,
Was it hard for you to like separate from those other?
huh?
Was it hard for you to separate from those other like, I don't know, areas of focus that you enjoyed?
Yeah, um, COVID was when it happened for me. Like I felt like all the fear of like what could happen when everything shut down, and I was just
Oh
like
yeah.
I don't know like if I'm gonna be able to continue or like what's gonna happen, and it just kind of felt like I don't know like just a really like urgent moment. It shut down and I was like inside and I was like, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. That's kind of like I quickly realized I was like that was the thing that I was like I can't lose like no matter what. It was like this one little like part of the craft that I'm involved in, and then so I was just like, all right, I'm keeping you, and everything else I can let go. And yeah, and I think that's made life a lot more simple for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like for me, whenever I'm kind of involved with like several things, is usually like I don't know, I always hit a wall, like a creative wall in like whatever discipline, and then I'm just like that is the hard thing for me to interact with in terms of like specializing, which is why for me it's valuable to have like several things. So like I don't know, say like I end up hating like painting, I can like pick up the synth and like make something, and maybe I only make like a song that is like completely terrible, but like technically it like I'm like, whoa, like how the fuck did I do that? And then I can ride off of that and kind of like apply something to like I don't know a weird like album cover or like a something like that.
Mm,
I'm trying to find a way for them to all like work together. But I mean, maybe that's like it's gonna have to be really loose. But anything that I
mm,
pursue like as like me, and not like working for the boss or whatever. All of my little weird side hobbies is like I feel like I don't care how slow that works, which is kind of different whenever your
mm,
career isn't the same as like the things that you're interested in. Like I love design and everything, but like my relief from design is like the weird stuff that can be like so loose and
mm.
like there is like it's okay if there's no such thing as like good, you know?
If there's
um,
no what?
there we go. Oh shit. Your cat's like going crazy in the background. I see her like
Uh,
running around and shit.
she fell in the trash can the other day. It was so funny. I waited too long to get her out, but it was hilarious. I wanted to see what she would do. She's just like, uh, uh,
That's hilarious.
I
But
lost. I forgot. Um, but you were saying
uh
like your other hobbies that they're like not related to your job and they give you relief.
yeah, yeah, they give me
And
some relief.
I it froze out.
Oh yeah, this thing is killing me today. But yeah, it like it allows me to be a little bit more free and loose because like design is so like rule based and restricted,
Mm,
and with like whatever artistic practice that I do, just like purely for like interest sake, it's like, can I even do this? Like, because I'll
mm,
have a weird idea or something, and that kind of allows me to like break that structure, and it's liberating, because there is no such thing as good, like it's just like it's really loose. And I like
mm,
looking at artistic practices in that way because like you don't really ever have to be good. And with that mindset, you like just always like learn more shit, And it'll take forever. I'm pretty sure I'll be like
mm.
an 80-year-old motherfucker by the time like I learn how to use Blender finally. But but that should be sick. Like, oh man.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Blender seems very intense, but the things that you can do with it, especially the direction that art's going to, but even
Oh
now,
yeah.
like certain 3D programs are seeming to be like old school compared to like Mid Journey. Like it's like
Oh
the
yeah.
what like making art on a computer now is just like it's not the newest way to do it like by
Yeah.
hand. So it's almost like it's new compared to like physical mediums, but it's like old already compared to AI art, which is
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
because now it's like yeah, once it gets even more like accurate, I mean, there's people already that can like they really understand the prompts and how to get what they want. At
I
least
have
they
a
make it
friend like
seem
that.
that way because
He's fucking
yeah, they're
crazy.
getting
He
some
makes like storyboard scenes with
uh
like some of the stuff that he does, and they transition so well. I'm like, what the fuck? This guy's talking to this thing like accurately. Like whenever I do it, I'm like
right?
real dumb with it, and I'm like, after like 50 images, I'm like, oh okay, I like this one. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, dude. Man, when I haven't been on it in a while, but when I the first
yeah.
day that I discovered it, I couldn't get off my computer for like the entire day. I was just typing in everything like just sending them like spamming my friends and they're like what are these like weird things, these abstract like blobs that you're sending me, and I'm like isn't this crazy?
Yeah, yeah, bro. They're like, oh, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Caleb has been going like real crazy with that stuff, and I think it's interesting. like he's been doing these like weird kind of like fake branding things. Like he made like
Oh, I
a
saw one of
soap.
those.
Yeah, he made like a soap brand that was like from a cult, you know? And it was like this like I don't know, 60s Japanese flyer themed kind of situation. And just seeing how people like merge that tool with like other tools is like really interesting. You know, like you can make some real crazy like iterative stuff that would take like forever. Like even composition work for like flyers or maybe I don't know, positioning things in a frame. Like you could do so many things. It's interesting to see people on YouTube, like these crazy, like either graphic designers or whatever it is their discipline is, kind of like using that in their practice. But for the most part, it just looks like I haven't seen anything that's like really on point yet, you know? But I'm really excited to see where it goes because it's just getting better.
Mm,
Was that freezing up for you?
yeah, because oh yeah, it froze up a little bit, but yeah, yeah, Mid Journey is pretty crazy, and I definitely like I just for fun, like just incorporating it. I think in the creative process, just like for fun, because it's easy. It's like minimal effort. I feel like it can really give you something like, and it can inspire you if you don't
Oh
even
yeah.
really like mimic it or like incorporate it directly. It can still just inspire you. It's like, oh, like this idea is interesting, like, and it may be like if you have an idea in your head and then you try and be articulate with the prompt and then it comes out way different but it's still like cool. I think that's promising for the idea.
No, yeah, yeah. There's this. I was talking to someone else about this, but usually, whenever I meditate, which I haven't done in a long time, but like I would imagine myself in this like kind of space, and I kind of like typed it up as a prompt, you know, like I was describing what the space looked like, and it gave me like this crazy ass image of like just kind of like a little space with a domed ceiling and like windows everywhere, and there were like little people kind of peeking in the windows, and that was a little treat that I didn't expect to happen, but it was like it was like a weird analogy to what like a focused mind looks like with all of the stuff of the imagination trying to like seep
Ah,
in.
uh-huh.
And I don't know, it's a really cool way to it's the new it's what writing was to like the imagination, you know, but now like you can have like images like one
Mm,
to one straight from the imagination, you know. And
mm-hmm,
that I think that's
mm-hmm.
kind of crazy, like what that could look like, telling a story through images as opposed to like words. But I think that's like I don't know, 5 years from now, that shit would be like very like one to one. And
Where
I
you
have
can
I have
just be like, you can just think and then like whoever you're thinking at can like receive a sequence of images that's more articulate than words. I feel like
yeah.
I would be a much better communicator if I could do that because like
Oh, you're freezing up for me.
words are just never acquired the skill. Are we gonna kick off?
Yeah,
I think
we're gonna get
Zoom's
kicked
gonna
off, and then we're just gonna join back in the same link.
okay, cool.
We'll just wait for it to run. The fun part
Um,
is whenever it cuts off randomly. I
so
should
I
pay for this stuff.
don't get interrupted, I'm gonna just go ahead and like, this has been a very long
Yeah,
minute.
yeah, for real. We just nuke right now. I'll end it. The anticipation is like killing me.
I know anxiety. I can't think.
all right, give me a sec. All right,
All
we're
right, we're safe. We got all the time in the world now.
back. Yeah, so were you saying something about like communication? If you could communicate through images because like
Oh yeah,
skill of
I feel like
communicating. Oh god, it's freezing up again. Oh, I'm gonna see if I can kick my roommates up. I don't know if that does anything, but
yeah, for sure.
I'm led to believe it does. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
What do you want? What do you want?
All right.
Did you get the? Did you take over the internet?
Oh yeah, kicked everyone off.
Nice, nice.
Hopefully that makes it a, that does something, or if anything, it'll give me a
Yeah,
nice little placebo.
yeah. It's pretty smooth right now.
Hey, we did it.
Oh,
Problem solved. Celebrate early. Oh, there we go.
ah, I gotta freeze. Okay, all right, I'm
Yeah.
good.
All right.
Um,
Communication. Well, I'm just gonna ride off that
communication.
because like that shit is actually
Yeah.
very difficult, and I think people underestimate how hard being a good communicator actually is because there's like a crazy amount of like vulnerability involved, and all of that stuff I think spills over into like directing too. You know, because it's like a specific language that you have to learn how to speak so you don't like discourage anyone by mistake, and it's like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
very
For
very
sure.
intricate. Oh,
Yeah. I feel like
there we go.
it can derail like can derail your thought process, certain things. Like I feel like some people are more sensitive than others to like words. And like for me, like a certain word can like hold my attention and then the following like couple of sentences, like I can't even hear them basically because I'll be like hurt or whatever. And then with words I just tend to get confused and stuff like that. But I feel like when they're not involved, like with pictures and expressions and it makes sense and it's all like in a box and it can like I don't know, it just feels like familiar, I guess. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know
yeah,
if I've like just like adapted to be that way or what, but like I feel like there's certain things. I was watching this documentary on Bob Dylan that was shot in like 1965 or something like that. It's this black and white one. And you see him like talking to people and he seems like he talks really fast and like kind of aggressive and like he's like challenging the reporters that are trying to like question him, and he seems like he's struggling to like communicate or understand them. And then it goes to these scenes, like these long scenes of him playing music and singing, and it's just like this like perfect. I'm not a huge fan of his music. Like, I mean, I do really enjoy his music, but like, I don't know his music well. I didn't grow up with it or anything.
Yeah.
But just hearing him play clear, like he is like communicating through music, or music is communicating through him, and it's so amazing to watch. And that's why I love and like am so infatuated by artists and creative people who, I mean, speakers too. I mean, he's using words with music,
Oh,
but
yo, yeah.
it's different. It's singing. It doesn't matter what the words are. And it's just it seems like such a more like full communication when it comes through some other medium than words. Like maybe it's because a language is only like how certain languages they can't, there's like Spanish phrases that don't have an English translation, and it's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't translate it. It doesn't hit right. So maybe it's because we have so many languages that it's too narrow.
Yeah,
But I
no.
feel like with
We're,
art and pictures and stuff, it's like it's all the same. Music, it doesn't matter what language the music's in. You can feel it regardless of if you understand it or not. And
yeah, yeah. Words are just kind of like little containers for like a couple different meanings, and sometimes like they can hold like too many different meanings, and then like shit just kind of like
mm,
falls in between in terms of like interpreting that stuff. But like, yeah, the cool thing about like creative uh practices is that like we don't think in terms of like words. We think through images and like our senses and stuff like that, like speaking isn't really like a sense. Like hearing, like whenever you're listening, like you can pick up on so much whenever a person like well just how they're talking, and there's more there than in what they say. Like a person could come at you and like be speaking to you in a different language, and you can kind of understand whether they're like sad or if they're like happy, even if you're just like listening to it, and
mm,
there's something really cool about being able to like speak like through senses. And that's another thing that I really kind of like is like using like metaphors, but like in different mediums to kind of like try and get an idea across, like
mm,
um there was this one project that I was doing for it was like my thesis project for school, and it was like a really weird project that none of my professors really liked, for a good reason. Like I was trying to do an interior design project, and like
dang.
and I'm like actually it was an industrial design degree, so they were like, "What are you doing? Where's the product?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it, man. I'm paying for this." But I was trying to I was trying to I was trying to express like what the space would feel like to be in before it even existed, and I couldn't really like I couldn't show them like with my words or even with like reference images. So what I did was I made this like weird abstract video of what it
Mm,
felt like or what it might look like to like transition through spaces and what sounds you would hear. And it was this like abstract audio visual kind of experience, and it painted the picture so well, you know?
mm.
And I think that's yeah, on that on the point of like Bob Dylan jamming better than he can talk. I think that's also really cool. Like there's a cool like metaphor that's had with like communicating in music, like almost as if it's like actual verbal communication, you know? Like musicians are fucking
Yeah.
crazy in that sense.
Yeah. Music's always been the one for me. I think it's because like being around it like as a kid, because my brother has been making music like when he started making music, I was 10 years old, and I was always like right next to him, and like like just like because I could connect with him so personally because he was my brother, like I really like felt together. And so like the things that he was expressing through guitar, I feel like I could just like feel it like more than like words could ever like say. And that's someone who doesn't know how to play music. It's just like a listener. I feel like so that's kind of my connection to like feeling art more than words and stuff like that. And I felt like because of that experience, I grew up like maybe not feeling like it's important to learn how to, to be articulate. And but I don't know, maybe it could be a good thing eventually. And I can lean on
Wait,
it.
wait, can you go over that one more time? It like slowed down like just when I was like yeah, the what you were saying just barely went through. What'd you say again?
Ah, ah. I
Yeah,
think
this thing's
because I had
killing me.
that experience like growing up of it froze again. Damn.
Yeah, you're good now.
Um, I had this experience growing up being around like music and feeling it and not and feeling it more than like words and moments in reality. And then no, I don't know if that makes sense. I just call it like a music listening experience outside of reality, but it kind of is. But
No, yeah.
I feel like I just never like had that incentive like from the start. I always like kind of put that type of expression like in the verbal communication.
Yeah, I mean,
But what I was
and
also saying is sometimes I feel like I'm just trying to justify like my lack of like being able to articulate myself.
yeah, I mean that on its own is like another fucking another like I treat it I think it's like an artistic practice too, you know? Like it's so normal and like every day that like it really does kind of like fall in the like it's easy to kind of take for granted like what actually is happening whenever you're like talking to someone. But I don't know that it's like the I don't know, it's like walking. No one really thinks about
Mhm.
how they can walk and like what walking does for them until they can't. And it's like the
Mm,
same for like that verbal communication cuz like so much like good shit happens through like I don't know, just being able to share like those I don't know, experiences or like ideas through words.
mm,
Even if there is some like miscommunication of like I don't know, whenever I say like I describe like an experience or something, someone could like reach into their mind and all of their references of like whatever, and you know they're kind of projecting their experiences onto whatever it is I'm describing, and like we're thinking two different things. Like there's still something there's a beautiful exchange there, you know, because from that misunderstanding, well, 50-50, you know, from that misunderstanding, like maybe something good could happen, or like you know maybe I might end up getting beat up or some shit. But just that, just the idea of like talking is like throwing something out there and just seeing how someone else receives that, like perfecting that like that transmission skill is like crazy as fuck. You know, it's like whenever you think of like those super wise old dudes, they can say like four things, and then everyone's like, "Oh fuck!" It's like, "Oh shit!" Like that's it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I hope I hope one day I get that skill together, but I don't know what it's gonna take. I feel like even for me, it's hard. Like even at the beginning of our conversation, like trying to describe what I do, it's like it's crazy that I can't describe what I do, and I literally think about it like all day, every day, and I can't even like describe what I do like in a clear, concise way. It's tough. I want to just like show like
Dude.
I want to send a sequence of Mid Journey images. I want to send a story, but like, you would get it instantly.
Dude, yeah, it's the same way for me out here. Cause like I feel like my job is like so weird, and
Mm.
usually whenever I explain it in like the whatever way that I feel like I'm most comfortable with explaining it, people are like, they're like, what? Like, so you do what? Like you work with just your boss and like I don't know, and it's just like the weirdest thing. And they're like, "What's the company called?" And I'm like, "It's a startup company, so like we don't have a website yet." And they're like, "Oh, okay." They're like, "Sure," you know, and no one really believes me too well, so I have to like
Dang.
explain it in just the right way to where it doesn't sound like I'm trying to like lie to them or
Mm.
something. But it's a weird tug of war, every time. But like, yeah, I don't even know what practicing that looks like. But I mean, the only thing I'm relying on is the fact that like, if I do like get old as fuck, like future self, he's gonna have years of like passive practice, under his belt. Or maybe I could fool myself
Yeah.
into thinking that I'm like getting better, to where I think I'm on that old man monk mode, but like really no one really understands me.
The kids won't understand you when you're an old man monk. The kids are gonna be
Yo,
like,
for real.
"What is this guy saying?"
Yeah, I always tell everyone that I want to be like some old like fart who lives in like a who lives in like a small like town, and I just have like my synth shit, and I like crawl out into civilization and just like spill some beans and just crawl back in the hole. They're like, "What the fuck is that guy doing? These weird noises."
That's awesome, dude. Isn't it? How do you feel about like being mid 20s? Like, what's your relationship with that?
Oh man, yeah, it's like it is kind of weird whenever I think about it, because like you go on Facebook and then you see people kind of like in their traditional approach to like what being in your mid 20s should look like, and like you can't help but to kind of like see where you stand and where you're supposed to be, but like there are moments in time where I feel like, I am kind of approaching 30, and it feels kind of weird because I
Mm.
started my career a little later. Like, I like graduated last year, I was like 25, and some people are like prime and all of that stuff, but, I don't know. I don't think I have a bad relationship with like being old. I think I honestly most of the time I kind of like romanticize being an old person like way too much.
No, me too, dude. I have conversations with my friends all the time because like in film, like all the people that are at their peak, like they're like old and gray.
Dude,
Like
yeah.
that's just how it worked out, and it's cool because like within the medium, like especially comparing it to sports where it's like, if you're 30, you're like it's like, oh, they're getting up there. But like in film, it's
Yeah.
like my the the person who's considered the best cinematographer like of all time right now, like living, is like 77 and still active. Like that's so
Yeah.
sick. And like it's a normal thing for these guys to be like, like seasoned and like white hair or like gray beard or like I mean, yeah, that's just like my image of like who I want to be, it's not like a 25-year-old. But at the same time I know I'm going to be like when I'm older and having like these physical like pains, I'm gonna be like, what was I thinking? Like, why didn't I just like appreciate my health? Because
Dude,
like it's gonna be hard. It's already hard to get out of bed, but I can't even imagine when you're old and your body's just
yeah, when
like
it's like physically hard to get out of bed.
I don't get out.
But I mean, I do feel like
Yeah.
there's like a lot of like value in like just mental strength alone. Like I don't know. I really like the idea of like a person reaching their goal at the age of like really old age. Like I remember whenever I was in school, I was like real pressed because I was like a little older than everyone else, and I was like
Mm,
looking at these people who kind of met whatever milestone that they were really reaching for, like when they were my age while I was in school. And I was like the most bitter motherfucker ever. Like I was just like so upset, and I was like always trying to like do the most and like do too much. But then there was like I know Charles Bukowski is like a complete asshole, and like he's like a terrible person and all of that stuff. But like his poetry's great. Live and die by that. And he only ever got like the means to actually practice his career like full time whenever he was like old as fuck. And that kind of helped me fall in love with the idea of just like being happy with like wherever you are, or like because like really the only thing anyone like the idea of success is just making like a stable practice. Like if your practice is like very organized but also has like room for experimentation and all of that stuff, like it's inspiring to you, whatever your practice is, like that's the goal. Whenever it makes you have more
yeah.
ideas and you can execute them, like uh I think all other definitions of success are like kind of tainted in a way. Aside from that,
Hmm.
having a cool practice, and that exists outside of age, which is like the cool
Hmm.
part. Like you can be a youth, or you can be like an old motherfucker. Whenever you hit that
Hmm.
like solid definition of like
Hmm.
true like creative success.
Hmm. I had like for me it's crazy because it's like I feel like being 25 is like you're at an age where some people are like having like have kids or like getting married, and some people are like on their own and like independent, and some people like kind of chosen their path and they're along it, and some are still figuring it out, and it's just kind of like there's so much variety at this age, and I feel like it gets less and less as you get older. But like I mean my parents were like decent amount older than I am now when like they had kids, but I know like for a lot of people like I'm already past the age. So I feel like because I can like I'm old enough to have my own like opinion on life and like how it should be
Oh
and stuff
yeah.
like that. And it's really nice. It's really nice like being able to do that just like on my own without the responsibility, and like I can still be open and I don't feel like I have to like figure out like a structure to pass on. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I I enjoy that about being 25, where it's like I can feel like however I want to about life, and it's not gonna like you know derail my kids yet. I mean,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I had children, then it would be different. But like right now, it's like I can kind of like I don't know, just like follow like what is interesting and fun, or like be a kid myself, and that's kind of where I'm at. But and also like I don't feel self like and survive like with food and shelter and stuff like that. And it's not that much in Houston, at least.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's
dude, I'm
it's
jealous.
really not
froze up. I don't know why this is going so slow today.
And it's really cool because like I have this, I don't know, maybe like no, I'm
Okay. Oh, oh.
back.
All right, we're back. Yeah, thank God.
Uh, but I just like I had this moment recently where I kind of realized that like don't I don't want to increase my quality of living anymore from where
Oh,
I'm
hell
at
yeah.
now. And it's very um like that was the most like liberating moment I've had in my adult life so far. And that could probably change if I had kids, you know, because you want them to be safe and like
Allow for that comfort.
they're, they become like you, you want that possible life. And I don't know, not having that and right now it's just like it's now I'm the thing, I guess. Like sure isn't all there.
Oh, yeah, it's freezing up for me. Ah,
Yeah,
this
that was a
fucking
long one.
sucks. I'm gonna, yeah, I need to fix this shit because, like, I don't know, this would be no good for like a memory, you know? Like, I go back to watch this video and it's like, whoop, whoop, whoop. It's been like that for several. I gotta fix that, but yeah, I mean, I think so. I'm just gonna pick up
Yeah,
where I kind of heard you last, but you were kind of like talking about how you kind of reached a point where you don't have to like really worry about or you don't mind where you're at in terms of like standards of living, you know? And I
yeah,
feel like that shit is a fucking like people continue down that hole where they just keep wanting more like stuff, you know? And it's like you don't even need more stuff. Like
yeah.
how much do you need as like a an individual, you know? And like
Right.
I feel like that's really what a lot of people look for, you know? Like you just need kind of like that secure space, comfortable space, you know, and from there like you're good. And so you said that that spot was liberating for you. Recently, I kind of ran into that and it was not liberating for me because I was just like cuz before then I was always like striving to get there, you know? And once I was there, I was like, holy, I was like, I'm bored now, you know? Like, I was like, I'm going to be doing this for, you know, the foreseeable future until like I have kids and shit has to change. And then I have to like work harder. And it's like it's this like
Hmm.
weird capitalist like relationship where I'm just like, I only know how to fucking strive for more, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Have you
for
ever
sure.
reached
That's
that
why,
point of like, you know, after
like,
the
feeling,
contentment?
um, well, for me, it didn't, it doesn't like, I don't feel bored. It's just, I felt like now I can, put more focus on the fun things. Like, it's just, there's more time for fun now and like
Oh, hell yeah.
expression and like cathartic creativity and stuff like that. Cause like in film, like, which I'm thankful that that directors have set this up to be so like clear and honest, where they're basically like, you shoot commercials, even if you're the best, like most creative director, you shoot commercials and then you get enough money for a couple months and then you shoot passion projects. And then all the people that care about your work are only caring about the passion projects and then they hire you for the next commercial and then they want this passion project and then you get paid for the commercial and then you do another passion project and it's just like just that balance but and that's kind of what I started to do and it's just like practice all your technical things on the commercial work and learn how to be efficient and learn how to like communicate and like be technical and then express yourself and be completely indulgent on the passion projects, and now it's just like, okay, now I know I don't need to take on any more things like for the sake of money, as long as I don't upgrade my lifestyle,
Yeah.
which like until there's outside pressure, I'm not going to do that because like I don't want to be responsible for like anything bigger than my little apartment or like, my belongings that I have, you know. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
now it's just like just more and more like creative stuff and like fun stuff, and I can invest my own money into my own like creative stuff, and I don't know, it's just it's really cool. And I think a lot of people that don't, if you get in this like kind of continuous cycle of increasing your lifestyle and then, to match your raise or whatever, and then you lose that job and it's like I got to scramble to find something to like maintain
Yes.
this. Like if the lifestyle never gets that high, like then because why does it really need to unless you just
Yeah,
have complete
exactly.
like abundance, and then it's like, yeah, but
That's where I feel like it's really hard for like uh people whose like careers don't really sync up with like what it is that they actually like to do, you know? And that's always like it's always going to be a thing
mhm.
like but cuz I don't know, spare time is dangerous. Like the thing that kind of shocked me whenever I like graduated and like got the job that I wanted, like I had like a huge vacuum of time, and I had time for like my little like practice things that I think are kind of cool. But like instead of having school, like work, and whatever projects that I want to do. It was just work and like whatever projects, and then like another million years of other time, and that adjustment is interesting, But for some people, it's just like work and then a vacuum, and I don't know. That's why I think like I don't know, anything that people are passionate about is really helpful. And I feel like it's good for a lot of people. Like it's like traveling, or like it's like I don't know, like a hobby or something. And all of that stuff really helps like build, I don't know, meaning in whatever it is that they do. Because like if it's nothing productive, it's just like a meaningless thing for appearance's sake. But I mean, who knows? Maybe that's a hobby too. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cool to be able to like put your what you gather into the thing that you love the most. Like I
Mhm.
feel like I'm working up to that point now where I have like a focus that I want to kind of make real. Like it's been a long time since I've dumped my money into something that like could fail or like succeed. Like me and
Yeah.
Caleb used to throw these like warehouse things, and I'm thinking of making my thesis project real soon. So that'll be
Uh,
an expensive little project. Uh, but yeah, that's slowly in the works. Slowly, slowly.
nice, dude. Yeah, I'm all about like, I mean, right now, like as someone who doesn't have like a family to be responsible for, like kids, like I'm
Yeah.
all about like I feel like I now's the time to invest like everything possible. Okay, I recently watched uh a interview with this music video commercial director who's like up and coming, and he's just like really, really talented. And he was getting these commercial works, and it's so confusing to me, but it also like opened my eye to this idea that he would get this budget that's like substantial, and I don't know what his background is or like, how he's supported or like if his family's paying his rent or whatever, but he would put every dollar on screen basically and not take any like profit from it for a commercial, which is like the whole purpose is to like sell things. And that to me, like, I was like, what? Like, why
No,
would you
yeah,
do that? But at the
even
same
right
time,
now for
like,
me, I don't understand the yeah, why would he do that?
but that's because the commercial work, that was his passion project. That's what I
Oh.
think. Because like here I am talking about this commercial director who's known for his commercials that are better than everyone else's because he did that, and like that's I think you like I'm starting to realize like because there's like a technical and craft aspect and then it's different than the creative aspect. I'm starting to realize that the things that people remember are like the the passion projects that nobody makes money on for the most part, or like if there is money that gets funneled into it, it always like finds its way like into the project. And that's just now I'm seeing that too. And if you get to a point where like your lifestyle is sustainable without you like needing to gather more money, then you can just it can all go into that and then you can elevate like artistically. I don't know. I just feel like this
Yeah.
like secret like picture was revealed where it's like, oh, like
Oh fuck. You froze up a little bit. Hopefully you got that. So I can stop
make
you before you go off.
these great works aren't like making these are a lot of money. Check, check, check. Hello?
Alright, there we go. Now
Okay,
we're back.
I see you. Okay, okay. All right, all right. Um,
Yeah,
but
you said like
yeah,
uh,
so that's like I don't
go
think
ahead.
like people we may assume that people are making like more money than they are like successful artists, but I think they're investing like everything into it, and that's what's making the difference. Um,
Yeah, most definitely. And there's a lot of that outside in view. That's I mean, sometimes it's almost judgmental that like people see these like crazy things happening and they're like, how are they even doing that? You know? And I don't know, it's kind of misleading. Like there are a lot of assumptions that could be had. I feel like there should be a lot of like transparency in the development of anything. I feel like that's like the cure for a lot of like these weird perceptions that people might have because like usually it's always about the end product, and you never get to see what's in between, and there's so much like fucked up stuff just like in that journey
yeah,
between like the beginning and the end. But to that note, in defense of not being able to show any of that in between stuff, like um process work as like capturing process is a practice on its own. Like, and that shit is so fucking difficult. But it's also really important. I don't know. Are you working on any like creative, your own personal pursuits?
not like my own personal like project. I'm gonna film some stuff next month, like on Super 8 with my family, but that's just like
Oh yeah.
uh, it's not a project. It's just I'm doing it, and that's like the only like personal thing. But I'm involved, like I'm helping directors. I'm like because of how I'm feeling and like really like trying to invest in passion projects right now. I'm trying to help my friends that are directors develop their vision because if they were to try to find a cinematographer who's like I want to help you, like I respect your work, but I gotta like get paid, and they don't have the resources to do that. I'm trying to like help them like basically just like invest in like my friends that I think are talented directors, and like just letting them show like what they can do and just trying to make it happen like with minimal like funding and all that. So I got a
Yeah.
couple of those like really small things. It's just like let's just make something that's like for ourselves, like, and I got a couple of those in the works, and I want to keep doing those and like ride off that momentum and like
I think
like
those are
that's
like the
why
most. those are the most like valuable projects, you know? Like those are the things
They
that
really are.
yeah, they need to happen way more cuz not only are you like helping out the people that you feel, you know, deserve all the shine, like you get to work with them, you know? And that's like the funnest part. Even if there's like no money involved or limited amount of money involved, like you get to, I don't know, working with people you love is like
Okay, I got working with people you love is.
yeah, for real. Ended at the perfect
I was
moment.
like, no.
They could have given you like 3 more seconds.
Your
I
last words are like, working
was
with
like,
people you love is is.
yeah, but that's like
what were you
that's
saying?
like the most fulfilling work. That's like, you know, that like if you imagine what work would look like, I don't know, 2,000 years ago, like that's like the best case scenario. Or I mean, even now, you know, like because that's how you make really meaningful stuff. A lot of people don't love the work that they're involved in, and I feel like as a direct result of that, like you get bad work, you know? Like you gotta love the team and the product, you know, because everyone will want the end result to be the best version of itself. And that's like, you know, when there's love all in the team, like people get passionate about it. They're like, wait. But like maybe we should
Yeah,
think of it like this so like in the like it can be exactly what it wants to be, you know, and it's not like ego driven at all. Like it's like what is this
yeah,
project trying to say? And like
yeah,
we're all trying to make it say that.
yeah, yeah. I remember it was really hard for me because I came from like skateboarding was my passion and like that was my community and identity and like that was my lifestyle and it's a very like it's a lifestyle thing for sure. Like you're committed to it. And then I transitioned to like filmmaking where that's also a lifestyle, but it's like the attitudes are different, I think, because people are
Oh
getting
yeah.
paid for it. So that like gets involved like really heavily. But I just remember with skating, it was like, you know, everybody was so like supportive and like the bonds you make are so deep like so quickly just because you're like rooting for these people that are like getting their ass kicked just for the sake of like trying to like do like they're kicking they're beating themselves up and suffering just so that they can do this thing whether people are watching or not. And
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
that to me like was the like nothing felt better than that than seeing like friends of mine like battle and struggle and then like just being there watching and like you got it this like and in film I see that on passion projects it's always like it's like the director's like oh man I don't like is this even good and then like all the homies are like
They're like,
no this is a
don't even
great
worry about it.
idea like you know we could do this like it'll work out and it's just like the attitude is there so because it's passion you know you're doing it for the sake
Yeah.
of passion and that's what skateboarding was for me too it's like there was nothing to gain than like other than like the act of doing it and and yeah so I'm that's the feeling that I'm trying to get like that's because then it makes life like more meaningful and fulfilling like
Yeah,
just
dude.
I don't know it's like it's great to see I love seeing my friends like put out awesome work and like do stuff just for the sake of doing it and it's like the older you get and like the more pressure there is to make a living the harder it is to do that because it's like it's not the default mode.
Yeah, I mean, and just like you said, whenever I see like the buddies, I don't know, whenever there are two different things here. There's like the collaborative work, seeing people work together and like work well together is just like watching a family being like made. Like developing a good team is so fucking hard, you know. And once you get to see that shit gel, like that shit is so beautiful. And then the other thing, kind of piggybacking off of what you were saying, like whenever you see like your friends progress in whatever like creative pursuit that they're doing like on the side, you know, or like maybe lucky enough to like be able to do that as their main pursuit, whatever it may be, like seeing them move closer to the idea of their idea of whatever success may be is like it's like always crazy to see. It's like, damn, man, you just hit another milestone. Like, you just upgraded, and you get to see everyone kind of grow slowly. It makes me really excited to see all
Yeah.
my like creative friends. Like even you know, like you've been upgrading a lot. Like I saw that I
You
saw that
too.
competition. You and a couple of friends entered for like that Blade Runner scene that you guys replicated. I was like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
shit, like yeah,
Yeah.
even the
Dude, that
smallest of
was, and that's
things.
what I'm saying. Like the things that people appreciate, like that was something that like Esteban, the director, he invested his own money in it, and like he did it for the sake of the challenge and like learning and just making this image. And we were like when he first called me up about it, I was like, this looks so hard. Like, like I don't know how to do it, and that like got me so excited because it's like I don't know. It's just like there's like we're just doing it just to do it, and everybody there was like, putting in the effort and like just down to like make it happen, like by whatever means, and that's like how like all the people that were involved in that too, like like what their like intentions are and like that. I don't know. I just feel like there's like an authenticity to when it's like, okay, these people just love doing this, you know, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
and it worked out. Like I posted it on a forum somewhere, and somebody was like, curious what your motivation was to do this since you weren't getting paid, basically. And they're like, it looks great, but like, why did you do it? And I'm like, I don't know, like, like it seemed like difficult and like fun and exciting, and like that was it.
Yeah, if anyone asks that question, like you're doing something right, you
And
know?
it's like that, the fact that that people do where you can get to the point to where you can do stuff just for yourself like is important in the first step, and then once you get there, like maintaining that, which is what I'm trying to think about right now, is like how can I maintain like this balance where I can do these like things just for the sake of it and just be like motivated by the right things, which is like the ideas and the art and stuff, while
Yeah,
also
yeah.
like I after doing that, it's like, man, I put in more work trying to copy someone else's image than like I put into my own stuff. And I could be so much better if I just like put in that kind of effort. But I'm just like I put in, I mean, not more time, but like the intensity was like, I don't know. It was like a competitiveness. Like I'm in a competition. Like I want to do everything possible. And like my friend's money's on the line. Like and we just like I just the focus was different, and I'm like, and then at the end of it I get like a Amazon Basics version of a really good
That's hilarious. I mean, it's funny to think about in that way, you know, because like it is weird how replicating work. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's like the having the end goal is like being able to see what the end goal looks like, you know, is a lot easier than like, you know, giving birth to something and like because you don't even know what the fuck it's gonna look like. You have like a weird foggy idea whenever you're working from like your own imagination or your own projects. Like that's just way harder to
hmm
create an unknown image, you know?
hmm
Because like I don't know, that's one thing that I've been kind of wrestling myself about is like the motivation to like give birth to these like new ideas. Because like yeah, in that process they can feel so fucking distant, you know. And it's like, yeah, there's that thing that I want to do, but it's all the way over there, and I'm like all the way over here, and it's like those small steps, and it's like you're walking through quicksand to get to like the finish line, and you always have to move, or else like if you stop for too long, you'll sink, and then the project never finishes.
Yeah, man.
And
Momentum is a very powerful thing.
oh yeah,
Like that's another thing too that I've been like learning a lot about too, and just trying to like be a force to like when I see momentum, like make it as slippery
ooh,
or whatever as possible
yeah,
to
yeah.
like when I see my friends like get excited, I'm like, man, I need to just push them like give them as much momentum as possible to make sure that this thing follows through. And
Oh yeah, on group projects, that's like another thing. I've been
yeah,
working on a couple group projects recently, and like personal, and right now in like all of them, the momentum is kind of like low, and they're haunting us, you know, and it's to the point where I feel like a
mm,
magic trick needs to get pulled to kind
yeah,
of push it a little further. But I have faith in that. Honestly, this conversation has juiced me the fuck up, you know?
yes.
So, so like,
Do it.
yeah,
Call your friends right now.
no, for real. Like, that's for real gonna happen. And like, I don't know, even if it means like picking up a lot of slack to put us like in a place that is like inspiring, because like if everyone's kind of like slowing down, like because we're all kind of in a place where we're like tired from like whatever it is our respective jobs are and life things. But yeah, I'm gonna ride off this one, that way I can like push the morale all the way up, and then we can kind of like can slide down, to the finish line.
Or yeah, glide to the finish line. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the earlier the momentum is there, it's like easier to keep it going. So I think sometimes you like it's tempting to rush because of the momentum, but some projects are like slow burning projects, and then I don't know. I think it's just as a collaborator, like every single person is equally like responsible to help like keep it going and like stay out of the way as much as possible, and like push help guide it in the right direction. That's a good type of pushback, but a slowdown is not good.
yeah,
Like I think
yeah.
that's just negativity, and
It's
I
an
think
it's
like
an
just
interesting
being like,
dance.
yeah, yeah, because there's like certain certain things where it's like someone will make a comment that sounds like uh it's like a quality protection type of comment, but it's coming from like a negative place, and it's really just like maybe like I don't know, bad energies that's just slowing it down and not being helpful, basically. I
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if that makes sense, but
No, yeah. Those
like
those those like sinkholes can like pop up in like so many different kinds of ways, whether it's like intentional or not. And I don't know, just knowing, I feel like knowing yourself and like being transparent about like whatever it may be like that issue is like literally the best thing possible, because then everyone knows where everyone's at mentally, and then
mhm.
it's like, all right, like that sort of feedback is like perfect. It can seem like it's slow, because usually you'd think that creating on that level would have to be real intuitive, like getting the dance right. Like it's easier to just be good at dancing than to like be the guy who's like trying to learn how, and like, oh, like I don't like it whenever you move this way. Like, can we talk
Mm,
about that
mhm.
so we can like get that shit right, you know? And it seems like it's not productive, but it's way better in the long run, you know, because
Hmm.
everyone knows each other's moves, you know?
Hmm.
But
It's all a
yeah, like,
dance.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but this has been great, man. I'm gonna need to break out because like you got me on a high right now.
Okay, okay, yeah, dude, do what you got to do with it. I'm excited that with words and the picture of my face, something positive came out.
Dude, yeah, most definitely. I had no clue what the fuck these conversations would do. I just like the idea of talking to people, but like, yeah, look, results already.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I'm glad I was one of the lucky winners. So, and now I have something to come back to when I'm super old, man. When we're both like super old, like these old men that we're talking about, we need to come back and watch this, and we're gonna be like in pain, like
Dude,
they
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
even know.
we're like, okay, okay. We're probably spitting all the facts that we'll ever spit. You know, we'll be coming back to this to learn lessons. Yeah, but good seeing you, man. I'll
Yeah,
definitely catch
man.
you in the
Hopefully, I can
future.
see you.
Yeah, I'll probably be in Houston like somewhere during the winter. There's like a cool little art show thing that I'm gonna be a part of. Looking
Ooh, I
forward to
will be
that.
there. I will be there.
Yeah,
Sick.
man.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I'll see you around, man.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Have a good night, brother.
All right, you too, man. Catch you later.